A plastic fork helped break open a 14-year-old unsolved case, and that is just one of the many updates I have to go over with you today in the case of Irasema Chavez. There was a joint press conference today between the FBI and Arlington Police, and we're also getting new disturbing details out of an arrest affidavit for Mayra Velasquez. I'm going to go over all of it with you, starting with the backstory, and if you're following this case, you'll want to hear all of it. 32-year-old Irasema Chavez was found no longer alive in her Arlington, Texas apartment on January 20th, 2012. She had suffered approximately 100 stab wounds. At today's press conference, investigators confirmed that there was a small droplet of blood found in Irasema's bedroom that did not belong to Irasema. The DNA belonged to an unidentified woman, but for years that DNA did not match anyone in the National Law Enforcement database. In 2016, investigators used that DNA to put together a prediction of what that unknown woman may have looked like, but still they could not attach a name to the sample. In November 2024, Arlington Police asked the FBI's investigative genetic genealogy team to help them. The FBI said today that that genealogy investigation came up with a significant lead in April 2026, eventually pointing them towards Mayra Velasquez, a woman who police have described as a former close friend of Irasema Chavez. And we can see an example of that here. This is a photo of Irasema and Mayra. And this photo was posted by Mayra on January 20th, 2012, the very same day that Irasema's body was found in her apartment. Investigators began following Mayra, who had been living a very fulfilling and successful life from 2012 to 2026, but on May 13th, 2026, an undercover officer watched her eat at a restaurant with friends. After Mayra and her friends left, they collected items that were left on the table. Those included 2 plastic forks, a plate, and a cup. Police announced today that the DNA on one of those forks matched the DNA from the blood droplet that was left in Irasema's bedroom back in 2012. Investigators believe that the person responsible for this violent attack may have cut themselves during it and unknowingly left that drop of blood behind. The arrest affidavit for Mayra Velasquez provides additional details that were not all gone over in today's press conference. According to that affidavit, Irasema had installed a security system in 2011 after someone had slashed one of her car tires. On January 19, 2012, one of those cameras captured the footage that I'm going to allow to play through here. It showed someone wearing baggy clothing and a hooded sweatshirt, walking upstairs and knocking on Irasema's door. Irasema appeared to briefly speak with the visitor before voluntarily allowing that person inside. Less than 10 minutes later, the power to the apartment surveillance recording system was manually disconnected. The affidavit also describes bloody shoe prints leading from Irasema's bedroom through the apartment towards the area where her living room television had been removed, and then out of the front door. Mayra is charged with capital murder because investigators allege Irasema was intentionally harmed during a robbery or attempted robbery. The missing television is reportedly part of that allegation. The affidavit also reveals that Mayra's name may have surfaced much earlier than the public previously knew. Shortly after Irasema was found, detectives reportedly received a tip claiming Mayra's husband was jealous of the close relationship between Mayra and Irasema, and you're about to see her walk into that door now. Based on that anonymous tip, police went to the home of Mayra and her husband back in 2012. They left a business card asking them to call police, but according to this arrest affidavit, that call was never made by Mayra or her husband. So it wasn't until July 2026 that Mayra Velasquez was arrested and booked on a charge of capital murder. She's being held in the Tarrant County Jail on no bond. Right now, police have not named a definitive motive, but between the visitor being voluntarily allowed inside, the surveillance system allegedly being disconnected, the missing television, the bloody shoe prints, and the DNA match from a discarded plastic fork, investigators now believe that they have the person responsible for this violent attack back in 2012. Of course, Mayra is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Those are all the updates for now. I would like to hear your thoughts on what is listed in that arrest affidavit and everything that we heard in the press conference today. I do have some pending requests out for documents in this case, and I will update you as soon as I receive those or as soon as there is new information. The most important thing to me in this case is justice for Irasema Chavez. Her loved ones have waited over 14 years for justice and answers. I can't imagine being in their position, and I hope and pray that they are on their way to receiving justice for Irasema. Rest in peace to Irasema Chavez.